Don't look away. Don't look away. You can do it. You can do it. I'm a brave boy. I'm a brave boy.
Jesus Christ! Oh.
Welcome everyone to the first installment of the brand new series, the Deranged Archives, where we take a look at the crazy, deranged, and just downright batshit insane characters in fiction. And today's file will be taking us to the village of Higurashi, the land of the crazy.
Open the door. Open the door.
I can seriously make a few episodes on just some of the people in Higurashi alone. We got Rena, Sadako, Rika, just to name a few. Some of them are even in the other archive departments we have. Heck, even some of them double up. Higurashi is nuts. But for today's file, we'll be diving into one of the most infamous phases in deranged anime history.
It's too late for you to try and save Mio. She's a lost cause now.
Shion Sonozaki. She's in the intro for a reason. Also, spoiler warning for these episodes here, and that's if you care. To truly understand the insanity of this woman, we must take a look at the beginning. Its origins. Shion is the identical twin sister of Shion Sonozaki in every conceivable way physically, down to even having the exact same voice. And their family is one of the big three families in Higurashi, the Sonozakis being the biggest bosses. And of course, they need an heir to take the position of the head of the family, and having twins kinda complicates that. So it's a family tradition to strangle one of the babies. Well, fortunately, I guess they changed their mind halfway with Shion and just decided to keep her as far away from Higurashi as possible. If she even wants to visit Higurashi, she's gotta break out of school and disguise herself as her sister while in town as to not get caught by her family. Or else. And on one fateful day, after nearly getting jumped by some delinquent bikers, she was saved by a boy named Satoshi, who will be the catalyst for what's to come. She then hits up her sister saying, "That Satoshi boy kinda cute. What more can you tell me about him?" Oh, that boy is struggling. Home life sucks, being a big brother sucks, most of the village hates his family's guts. It's a whole thing. Ow. So he's single. So while undercover, she begins getting all this man's lore from some of the people in the village and how he's not doing so hot. And what's the conclusion she comes to? Ah, it's all his sister's fault he's like this. And so when she goes to the school, still disguised as Mion, she notices Satoshi's sister Sadako crying for a big brother after dropping her lunch. She picks up her food, and then proceeds to throw this girl like she's dirty laundry. Twice!
Nice throw!
Ma'am, please. She then moves on to verbally abuse her, saying stuff like, "Sadako, if you don't shut your whiny ass up, I'm gonna upgrade from a notebook to a whole damn thesaurus. Stop calling out for Oni-chan all the time." You know what? Just get to the thesaurus. We're going straight for a chair shot. Had to have 3 people come up in there and tell her she's gotta cut it out. Our boy Satoshi over here is just holding his sister pissed off, questioning what they both did to deserve to be treated like this. They didn't do anything wrong. It's just his dead parents. But the next day he calls her and is like, "Look, even though you beat the crap out of my little sister, I know you're not like those people who outright hate my family's guts. So, can you do me a solid and take care of Sadako while I'm totally not killing my aunt?" "Sure. Good luck with not killing your aunt. I think we'll be fine." So the very next day, Satoshi is suspect number 1 for the murder of his aunt. Who I guessed. Shion, not wanting her mans to get locked up, gives him an alibi, but outs herself for being Shion Sonozaki, that twin that no one's supposed to know about. Pretty much told him to check Ancestry.com. They'll find something. It does not take long at all for her family to learn that she's in town, and it just gets worse from here. So she is brought down to the underground toll shrine, which so happens to also double as a whole damn torture chamber. They even have a spot for an audience to watch. Shion and Granny then get into an argument about Satoshi. Granny's not at all a fan of the Hojos due to what they did in the past, and Shion pretty much calls her a boomer, saying she doesn't care about his family or her family, to be honest. And outright confesses to everyone that she loves that boy. And everyone over there in the audience is just shaking their heads disappointingly. Oh, this girl is saying too much. You can't just talk to Grandma like that. But since she's still Sonozaki, she's gotta show responsibility for all the shit she did. If she does that, she will be the only one punished. If she doesn't, everyone that helped her throughout the course of this entire thing will get punished instead. So she says sorry to Grandma.
ごめんなさい。私が間違っていました。許してください、当主様。
Now they go ahead and bring out a device meant to rip off fingernails? How the hell does something like this exist? And she's gotta remove 3 nails, each nail representing each of her wrongdoings. I'll be honest with y'all, This entire upcoming scene is incredibly hard to watch. I still don't think I've seen the entirety of it. Here's a replay of me watching the scene again. Don't look away, don't look away. You can do it, you can do it. I'm a brave boy, I'm a brave boy.
Jesus Christ! Oh!
After that traumatic experience, she took a few days off from touching grass. And when she does decide to go out, she learns that Satoshi mysteriously disappeared. She doesn't take it well. She then gets some lore on the mysterious deaths and disappearances happening in Himezawa over the past few years. They just gotta be connected. So Mion comes over to visit Shion later that day to check in on her, apologize, and see how her nails are holding up. Shion's putting on a happy face, saying she's all good and that she forgives her. She was just doing her duty as the next head of the family. Until Satoshi's disappearance is brought up. Then the demon is unleashed. As she's wringing her sister's neck, she begins to blame her family for being the ones to make Satoshi disappear. She wasn't laying up either. Not until she saw Mion also lost some of her nails because she didn't want Shion to have to go through that alone. And right there, Shion suppressed all the rage inside of her. Momentarily. And that shall conclude the first file. Got a decent idea? Good, because it gets worse. On to the next one. So after a year, we find Shion having a normal conversation about Mion's crush on this boy Keiichi, and how she struggled to make him see her as a girl. Now while she's talking about that, Shion begins to get envious and remembers Satoshi. Well, because no one's gonna get mad and judge Mion over her crush. Flash her joining into breaking into a ritual tool shrine to learn more on how Satoshi vanished. While investigating inside, her suspicions on her family being responsible for his disappearance grow even further, to in her mind being confirmed after listening in on a suspicious conversation at night. Unfortunately for her, the phone rings at just the perfect time for her to get caught. Luckily for her, she's equipped with the world's most powerful taser. 100% guaranteed to knock out anybody. Her sister might be equipped with the strap, but that shit's pretty much for show. She never uses it. Anyways, after knocking out her sister, she then moves on to tasing Granny, to then toss them both into the dungeon. Yeah, that torture room from earlier doubles as a jail. Props to the renovators. Shion's pretty much enjoying the role reversal here by interrogating Mion like, alright, simple question. What did you guys do to my man? I really don't know anything. Bullshit you don't! You're the most sus looking one in the whole family! We are identical twins. Okay, let's go with the possibility you don't. Who would? I don't know, ask Granny, she's the literal head of the family. Huh, good point. That expired box of Raisin Bran gotta know something. Now she goes up to Granny and is trying to wake her up, but she doesn't seem to be responding. So she grabs herself a lighter and burns part of her face to learn that Granny's freaking dead. You know, with her face looking like that, I don't know how you couldn't tell she logged out of life. But this just pisses her off even further. She's mad for two reasons. One, that she died without apologizing to Satoshi. And two, because she couldn't beat her ass herself. And proceeds to whip her corpse. Whip it good. What are these faces she is making? I'm saving half of these for future use. After being on her corpse a little bit and getting ready to toss her body down a pit, she lets Mion know that she really wasn't forgiven after ripping off 3 of her nails, and that the both of them are a bunch of liars. And begins being on Granny some more. Bright side, if Mion really isn't lying, she's fine. But if she is lying, then whatever happens to her won't matter. Later, she begins to masquerade around the village as Mion, tormenting Keiichi a little bit, and participating in a meeting where she lures the village headman into her home to gauge how much he knows. And it starts off pretty well. She's believing that this man's fully on her side, until he starts to talk shit about Satoshi. Or as he says, Hojo brat. You poor bastard. And he just keeps going. He already signed his death warrant, but as it turns out, when she removed 3 of her nails to show responsibility and overlook people's sins, Satoshi wasn't a part of that at all. You already know where this is going. Oh, dude gets tased after getting told Satoshi ain't do nothing. He ain't do nothing! He ain't do nothing! So while she's interrogating him, she really doesn't get anything important out of him. Except that he thinks it's hard to believe that Satoshi could still be alive at this point in his opinion. And if nobody can find a dead person's corpse, it's probably down the hole she tossed Granny in. As she quickly rushes to shout at this deep dark pit, she gets into a conversation with her shadow, which morphs into Satoshi's shadow, and is speaking back to her? This shouldn't come as a surprise the more I think about it. Well, as she's talking to Shadow Satoshi, thinking she's finally found him, she's prepared to jump down the pit to be with them, until Shadow Satoshi says she's gotta live and fades away. With this newfound information, she moves forward to continue mentally scarring her sister by screaming at her about why she didn't save Satoshi. On the next day, Shion's like, damn, nobody knows anything. Who the hell could possibly have the answers I seek? Ah, of course, the child. Rika is technically the head of the Furede family, one of the 3 big families, since she's the only one that's still alive. So Shion goes to question her. It doesn't really go the way she would like. so she just hits her with a triple slap and leaves her on the ground.
I took offense to that.
We cut the Shion back home, relieving some stress by stabbing the floor repeatedly, all while thinking, man, how great would it have been if it was Sadako instead of Satoshi. That way I could slide on in and comfort that grieving boy. She's then knocked out of her stabby trance by Rika ringing the doorbell wanting some soy sauce. However, that was all just a clever ruse. In reality, Rika was over there to stick a needle in her. She even came equipped with a can of Febreze. Gave her a whole whiff of that Hawaiian Alola breeze. She unfortunately didn't stand a damn chance though. Because, duh. Shion over here giggling, talking about how she just can't wait to torture her down in the dungeon. While Rika goes ahead and grabs herself a knife, she decides that she'd rather log herself out than spend another minute with her crazy ass. And I mean, she certainly did. In the most brutal way possible. After all that, she gets a phone call from Sadako out of all the unfortunate people, asking if Rika's still over there getting the soy sauce. Seeing this opportunity literally handed to her, she's like, oh yeah, we're both just having dinner together. I made too much food I could feed 3 people. Oh my god, you'd make it 3 if you came over. We're kinda left in the dark on that a little bit while she's out tormenting Keiichi by furiously shaking a ladder and getting the entire village to suspect him for all these missing people, and is really enjoying it. All these faces she's making says it all. But not too soon after, we get to see what she has in store for Sadako. She went and chained her to a whole cross right next to Gramps, who got hung to death, and plans to have Mion listen to her die as she stabs her to death.
You are unhinged.
While Shion is berating Sadako on how much she was a burden to Satoshi with a couple of stabs here and there, Sadako goes on to explain that ever since her brother's disappearance, she became self-aware on how much stress she brought upon him, and constantly clinging on to him for everything as the spoiled girl she was. So over the course of the year, she matured, and whenever he does come back, she'll show him how much of a character arc she went through. Doesn't stop Shion from stabbing her though, and when all is said and done, with convenient timing, she remembers Satoshi's final words to her. Whoops. Finally, the police call up to her and they're ready to arrest her. But with the little bit of time she bought for herself, she easily drags Keiichi into the dungeon and knocks him out, and it's about to torture my man. The funny thing about this whole thing is that even though she's been caught, everyone still thinks she's Mion. Keiichi over here calling her Mion like 30 times, making the both of us laugh. Anyways, he kinda talked no jutsus his way to just getting tased, while Mion gets to boost sales, and her new one has a giant body pit that she falls in via the taser. And by dumping her body and switching clothes, she momentarily evades the cops. She does, however, have one more piece of business she needs to take care of before she ditches town.
You deranged son of a bitch.
She just had to shake my man one good time and dip out of there. However, while sneaking her way back into her apartment, her shirt gets caught on actually nothing. I'ma just say this was an act of God, and he had enough of this girl. Send her to hell and let the devil keep her. As she falls and looks up towards the moon, time seems to slow down for her, and she sees Satoshi's face as she says her apologies to him and everyone. Something kind of put an end to this girl's rampage eventually. It just so happened to be the pavement. And with that, that will conclude the deranged file on Shion Sonozaki. I believe doing the first episode on the true OG Yandere was a must. She was truly a menace to everyone in that village and her whole family, all over this blonde boy that gave her a head pat. She's still probably like my second favorite character in Higurashi, all because of this crazy arc. Am I crazy for liking the crazy ones? Shoot, probably. Look, if you made it this far, hit that like and subscribe button. Help your boy hit 1,000 subscribers, that's the goal, please and thank you. There are definitely more of these to come, so go ahead and comment your suggestion of whose file we should read next. We probably have it here. Enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever the heck you may be.